computer. Hey guys, this is Alyssa Avant, and today I am interviewing my team member, Kristy, and she has been with me. I looked back to see how long she has been with me, and we started her internship in May of 2023. And so then shortly after that is when I began building a team in July, and she came on as a team member right after her internship. So I'm going to let her get started by introducing herself to you, and then we're going to be going through her journey of becoming a virtual assistant.
So yeah, as Alicia said, my name is Kristy. And I currently live in Texas. We've lived all over because my husband served in the military, but now is retired. We have two kids, two dogs, and a bird. So it's a zoo, just a little bit. But I actually did teaching online for a little bit. Some of you may be familiar with like online teaching English to other countries. So I did that for a bit. Then a lot of those got shut down because of government regulations. So I started looking for something else that I could do as far as work from home. And I started looking into virtual assistant work because I had a friend who was also doing it and she was really successful with it. And the biggest advice she had for me was try to niche down as much as you can. And I looked into a Pinterest course and actually niched down to Pinterest, which I still do today. But I love learning new things. And so I didn't want to pigeonhole myself into just Pinterest. And so I was listening to every podcast I could get my hands on that was about virtual assistants. And yours was one that I would go on walks and I would listen to every time you had a new episode. And I remember reaching out and saying, hey, if you need help with Pinterest, let me know. And you emailed me back. And then a few months later, I think it was a few months later, you sent me an email about your internship. And I was super excited about that because it was a great way for me to learn even more of a skill set that I could add to my virtual assistant services.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember you reaching out about Pinterest because we talked about how my Pinterest was looking and everything. I've had some help with it before and all of that. But one of the things that I try to do when looking for people to be on my team and in the internships is to find people that have an area of specialization, because that's something that I highly recommend and teach in my course, is to specialize. And so I like it when someone has done that and has really gotten to know a specific service that they can provide or an area of expertise. I feel like you have to specialize in order to truly find the right fit. As to find clients, it's the best way to do that rather than trying to be everything to everyone.
I agree with that because I've heard the saying a lot, and it is hard to niche down in the beginning.
Mhm.
I saw Pinterest and saw the advantages of it and the flexibility of it, and was lucky enough to find a course, and it was the perfect fit. But again, I didn't want to pigeonhole myself. I also wanted some other VA services that I could offer if I wanted
Right.
to. But I know a lot of people say if you are trying to reach everyone, you're actually reaching no one. And
Correct.
that's a hard concept to grasp, especially as a people pleaser. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
really
When you
have to go,
want to,
okay,
yeah,
not
when you want to help
everybody.
everybody, it kind of makes
Yeah,
it difficult. But
right,
it is very true. In the beginning, it's okay to offer different things to see what you're good at and what you enjoy.
right.
But it is very important to, once you have that idea, to just target that specific group of people, or that
Yeah, because
people are looking for
sometimes,
that.
especially if you're just starting out, you may think you're going to love certain tasks and then you get into it and you don't. And I'm more of a creative person. My friend that does VA work, she is a systems person. She loves creating systems, she loves that. And I can do it, but my wheelhouse is the creativity. That's what I love to do, and have somebody else create my systems if
Yeah,
they
yeah. Well,
can.
I always say, and I think I said this on the interview last week with Ashton, just because you can doesn't mean you should, because
Right.
you can get burned out really quick when you're doing a task that does not bring you joy and just makes you,
Not your best self for your client anyway.
yeah,
And one of the things I loved about your course is that it does focus on teaching you not only to serve your clients, but like the spirit that you serve your clients with, right? Because
Right,
as Christians, we want to serve them a certain way.
right,
And I'm a firm believer in I don't want to waste my clients' time or money because I've been a business owner. I know how much it takes one to hand something over because as business owners, we want to do it all ourselves.
right.
We don't want, and so when you hand that over to someone, I understand that you're trusting them with that. And like you said, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And if you're not joyful about it, you're not bringing your best work to your client. And so I don't like that because I feel like I'm wasting their time, money, and energy when I could really be serving them in a better way.
Yes, absolutely. I think so too. So I think that you covered this, but the first part of this question you covered, but I think you can answer the second part, which is what led you to apply for the internship, which I think you've answered. But the second part, how was your experience working as an intern?
So I love the experience because not only did it give me the opportunity to take your course and learn even more about the VA side of things, not just Pinterest as a service, but I got to work with someone like you who has years of experience, and I got to pick your brain and really get to learn new skill sets. But I would say when you're first getting started, never be afraid to reach out to anybody because I never would have guessed that reaching out to you with Pinterest would have led to what I'm doing now, which is being your team member from an internship to this.
Right.
And also don't close yourself off to the possibility of new opportunities. But yeah, so I came across the internship because you reached out to me and I know you interviewed a few people
Yeah.
and I was just super excited. I'm honored anytime someone is like reaches out to me and asks me to do something. I know even to this day, like when you asked about the interview, I'm like, yeah, I'm so excited. I can't believe you would ask me.
The reason I started the internship program in 2011 was because I had done a blogging internship program with a lady who was the founder of the organization that actually helped me get started. And I was on their podcast this past week. They're like revamping and relaunching Mom Masterminds. And Mom Masterminds is the group or organization that helped me start my business in 2007, and it had been out of commission. She had closed that part of her business. But Kelly McCausey was actually the person who had a blog internship. I did that internship and learned so much about business. And that was why I started one for virtual assistants because I really wanted to give back to other people and use my experience to help somebody else because that's basically what Kelly had done for me. And so I found so much value in it. And I know my friend Trisha, who was on the podcast this past month, she is an intern for Allie Worthington,
Mhm.
and she has the coach school. And she and I were talking about that this past week and how valuable it is to her. And so I think internships are super powerful and give you a ton of value, and you just never know what they will lead to in the future.
Yeah, I agree. And I think sometimes people are a little nervous, especially starting out, because you want to start making money. That's the whole reason you're
Yeah.
trying to provide for your family, right? And an internship, most of the time, technically is free. But if you look at the overall of the internship, what you would pay for that one-on-one coaching would be so much more. And now you're getting that for free by doing an internship. And so you're really trading your services to learn new skills. And then, like you said, to get the knowledge and years of experience that you have that most people do coaching programs and it would cost you thousands of dollars. So
Yeah.
if you can do an internship, especially if you're new, and someone's willing to take the risk and have you be an intern and really teach you and guide you, it also gives you that confidence to go on and take on your first few clients without feeling like, again, you're doing that and then they're paying you and you're still trying to figure things out because you've had an opportunity to test out your skills in an internship and really figure out what you want to offer.
Absolutely. I think so too. So tell us how your role evolved from being an intern to the team member.
So originally, if I remember correctly, the internship is what, about three
It's
months?
3 months, yes.
Yeah, 3 months. And so that was the initial agreement that we had. And then I know halfway through that 3 months, you were revamping and changing things. And you
Yes.
said, would you be willing to stay on for 6 months? And I was like, absolutely. The longer I can stay on, the more I can learn. So I did a 6 month internship with you. And then even during that, there were a few opportunities where you were able to provide a little bit of work for me that I could get paid for,
Yep.
which was great. And then that just naturally evolved. You said you wanted to start a team, and it's been so amazing watching that team grow and seeing where we are now. And yeah, it felt like a natural evolution and just flowed very easily, which was great because the whole experience with you has been very easy, straightforward. There's never been any confusion. It's been easy to work with. I can always get in touch with you if I have questions. And I just feel like in the areas where you have us like take on clients, you're this vast wealth of knowledge. So I don't ever have to worry. I'm not thrown out there into the ocean flailing by myself. I
No,
have
I
someone.
would never want that. I worked with a few teams over the years, and that was the thing. I studied teams and agencies to see what was good about those teams and what I struggled with about those teams. So when I
Hmm.
did create one, because I'd wanted to for a long time, that I did it to the best that I could. And so that did help me a lot. I always tell
Yeah.
people, if you want to learn something, I talked about that on this week's podcast episode about what I've learned in 17 years in business, what you need. And one of the things you need is someone that's gone before you that you
Hmm.
can learn from. And studying what somebody else doesn't mean you have to do it exactly like them, but you can learn
Right.
from their experience and take that into your business. And one of the things that I shared on last week's interview with Ashton is that I allow my clients, they're not pigeonholed into working for me. They have their
Hmm.
own businesses because that's really what's important is that they be able to build a virtual assistant business. So you took, as a part of the internship, the Become a Virtual Assistant course. So how did that course help prepare you as a business owner?
So for me, the course helped prepare me, one, by giving me confidence, because a lot of times you may not even realize that you already do certain things that help friends or family out that could be
Yep.
considered virtual assistant services. So finding out that those are things that you're already naturally doing, and some of it may be things that you're simply doing for your kids. Think of how many times now you get on Canva to help your kids create something for
With
a
a promote,
project.
my
Basically, your kid's
daughter does
virtual
that. Yeah.
assistant, right?
Yep.
So when you realize that you already have a little bit of experience, you just never knew how to label it. It gives you confidence. And then also for me, again, it always comes to not wasting clients' time or money. So, like managing your time, really figuring that out. And then also how much to charge, especially starting out,
Right.
because you can charge more as you gain experience because experience speaks. It's the same as when I go get my hair done. If I go to get my hair done by someone that's fresh out of cosmetology school, it's not going to cost me as much as someone who's been doing it for 10 years and is constantly doing training. And I'm the type, I go back through my courses mainly because a lot of times when you get courses, like whether it's somebody purchases yours or any other course, you usually get access to updates that occur because things are always changing. And so I like to go back through the courses every so often, like every 6 months to a year, because I feel like as you start getting into a groove, there may be things you missed, or you go back in and you're like, oh, I can rework this to do even better and see the changes. So I would also say, even if you've taken a course, always go back through it. Like, never be afraid to learn because we should always be learning more.
And I think that is one of the biggest things with a VA. And I've tried to teach people this, like in my groups and in my course and everything, that it's like teachers. I was a teacher
Mhm.
for a short stint. So they had what's called CEUs, or continuing education units, that they had to go back
Mhm.
and take. And I feel like virtual assistants should have those because there's always something new to learn. Facebook changes all the time. The different platforms change. There are new programs or tools. So, absolutely. And I am working on updating the course right now, actually. It will be updated as of January. And so,
Nice.
and when you either when you're in my internship or you purchase the course, you do get lifetime access to the course, meaning you can go back at any time and retake the course, even the update. So
Mhm.
one that is in the system now that has taken the course will get access and get an update in January saying, hey, the course has been revamped. You can come back in and retake it. So that is,
That's exciting.
I
Yeah.
like that about courses that I purchase. And so,
Me
yeah,
too.
absolutely.
And I know sometimes it can be hard to purchase a course because you're like, why can't I just go on Google or why can't I just go on Pinterest?
Oh,
And there's so many articles on like how to become a VA or how to become this and work from home. And there is a lot of information out there, but you're going to spend hours and hours and hours trying
right.
to find it
Weeding
because,
through that info.
yeah, because, and how up to date is that info? And then you get to it and you're like, oh, they gave me a little snippet, but now I have to go here to find more. And so it is worth it to invest in yourself and your business and invest in a course just so that you have that confidence going into it. And also, courses will usually tell you like how to get started and the do's and don'ts. So you don't
Yes,
make the same mistakes that they made in the beginning of their business, right? So
right.
you're saving yourself like years just by doing
Absolutely.
a course.
I agree. I've taken so many. I have a folder in my Google Drive of all the courses I've taken.
Yeah,
It's
I know.
crazy.
I have a folder in my Gmail because I'm like, I never want to lose my courses
Yeah,
and forget where I can find them. So I have all my courses
I do
in
too. Color, they're
there.
like color coordinated in there.
Yeah.
So, what has it been like working as a part of the team? What have you enjoyed about it so far?
So a lot of what I enjoy is sometimes and I think you touched on this a little bit, either in one of your podcasts or with Ashton in her interview, I can't remember, but people don't really know what we do.
That's
So
right. Yep.
they think you're still just a stay-at-home mom and you just like pop on your computer. Like they
Yep.
still don't fully understand it. And so it's nice to be on a team because you have a community of people who understand it. And every single one of us has a different area of expertise. So I can also go and pick Ashton's brain and or even I know I've mentioned once I get my website where it's at, I need to reach out to someone on our team and be like, who does like copy and
Yes.
like
Carrie does
SEO and be like,
copy.
okay, can I just pay you to like look over it and tweak what needs to be tweaked, right? So you get access to multiple people with different areas of expertise. And then you also get the accountability, which is
Mhm.
great because I think I told you this a week ago. I'm like, I love that you opened up the opportunity for us to do guest blog posts
Right.
because it is so easy as a virtual assistant to take care of everyone else's business and put yours on the back burner and what needs to be done. And so accountability is huge. And when you're on a team, you have that accountability and then that camaraderie. You have people, so you don't feel like you're at home all day and you never have adult conversation.
Right.
You actually get to chat with other people when you're part of a team and kind of bounce ideas off of each other. So you're not just like at it alone. We can send each other a message and say, hey, before I send this to a client, can I just get your opinions on it?
Yes.
Instead of feeling like you're sending it and then the client's going to hate it. You at least get
Right.
some other opinions
Exactly.
first.
Yeah, I asked Carrie yesterday or the day before to go to this landing page that I had created and make sure that she's really good with like grammar and all of that. So I was like, please go
Nice.
to this page and make sure that I don't have anything misspelled or missing periods or all that kind of stuff so that when I send this to her, I feel confident that it's done correctly. As
Yeah.
owner of this team, do the same
Yeah.
thing.
Because you hate it when you send a client like the work that you did. And sometimes there's going to be like little things, right?
Little
But if you can
mistakes, yeah.
alleviate that as much as possible, because I always feel horrible when they send me something, they're like, this is great, but you missed a period or you missed this. And I'm
Uh-huh.
like, oh my gosh, that's like what I should have noticed, you know?
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of hard after you stared at it for an hour to
Yes.
make
Yeah,
sure that everything's correct for sure.
that's true.
So you have been on the team officially like a year and a couple of months. So how have you grown in that time period as a virtual assistant?
So I can't say it enough, like the confidence that you gain by doing it, because I think we all suffer in the very beginning from like that imposter syndrome. It's okay, I have the
Absolutely.
skills, but I've never actually done anything for anyone like professionally. So it's the confidence has grown. Um, I have learned so much more about WordPress. I used to be so lost on there, and now I am helping one of my clients where, just like I did in your internship, I get to go into input her blog posts into
Right.
her WordPress. And as weird as it sounds, she hates doing this. I love getting the little green bubbles. So,
I do
like,
too. Yeah,
it's
that's
like
so
a
much
shot of
fun.
dopamine. Like I'm in
Yeah,
there and I'm like figuring it out and I'm like, yes, I got the green bubbles for SEO.
for
So
SEO, yeah.
I've discovered I love that, which is something I never would have
Right, because
thought
that's
would
part
bring.
of the intern task that I have interns
Yeah.
do is learn about SEO and putting my blog posts into
Hmm.
WordPress. And that's actually a service that you can provide for clients because there's clients that don't want to touch it. They just want to write
Right.
the blog and have it be put in there and made it look pretty and optimized
Yeah.
and all of that. So that's
And I
absolutely
get
a
that
service.
because that's really what we're here for, right? Even as business owners, you have certain things in your business that you love, and you have certain things that you don't love. And the
Yep.
things that you don't love are the things that you hand off to a VA because you don't want to have to do those things. Because again, whether you're a VA or a business owner, you're going to get burnt out if you're doing the things in your business that don't bring you joy and that weigh you
Yep.
down. So, those are the things that you pass off to a virtual assistant because they're not the things that you love to do. So,
Right, exactly. Like me
mm,
in bookkeeping. One of my
yeah,
interns who specialized in bookkeeping years ago,
yeah,
and she has been my bookkeeper ever since because I want to know the end result, like send me the
right.
profit and loss statement, how I did this month. But as far as like putting in all the numbers and figuring all that out, I do not.
Don't want to have to do it.
And it causes me a lot of grief. So I feel like I'm
Hmm.
wanting to bounce my head off the wall when I try to do
Yeah.
it. So I definitely don't want to do that.
And you're not as worried you missed something. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like
Yeah.
when you
I've
have an
always gotten
expert,
people to check over the bookkeeping because
yeah,
it made me nervous.
yeah. And when you have an
Exactly.
expert, then you don't worry. Like it's off your mind and you're like, okay. Also, I think a lot of times business owners, when something's not working in our business and we're trying to do everything ourselves, it's hard to pinpoint what's actually not working. Whereas when you have experts working on certain things, then you're okay. Now those are working, and it's easier to pinpoint and to correct what's not working in the business versus sitting there trying to find a needle in a haystack and figure out what's not working, you
Right.
know?
And sometimes we're too close to it. And I see that with my clients. They can't see
Mm-hmm.
the forest for the trees because they are too like it's like we're married to our business and so we
Mm-hmm.
can't see the little holes or problems that maybe other people from looking in from the outside can see and identify, and that's how we can help our clients sometimes as well as VAs be that extra set of eyes to try to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what's causing it not to work, what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
Switching gears a little bit because I really want to help people who are wanting to become a virtual assistant. What if you could give one piece of advice to someone who is looking to start their journey as a VA, what advice would that be?
So two pieces of advice I would give is one, take a course. Like invest in yourself, invest in your business. And also, if you're like me, if you've invested money in it, that course is not just going to sit there. You're going to make your money back. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? So it's
absolutely.
like you put a little bit on the line to where you can't just let it sit there and be like, oh, I got this, or I'm thinking of doing this, but you never do anything because if I don't purchase a course, I get in the rabbit hole of a lot of research, but never actually doing anything with
But
it
you don't take action on it.
versus a course where as I'm going through it, most courses are walking you through the action in each module. So
Yep.
by the time you finish it, you're set up and ready to go.
Yeah.
So for
So it
me,
gives
it's
you
like if
homework.
yeah, so if you're considering that, if you're serious about being a VA, do that. Take a course and write down the things that you think you're already doing that could be considered VA services because you might surprise yourself. And then the second thing for me would be never be afraid to reach out to friends, family, businesses, because again, I never thought that just reaching out to you in an email, a podcaster, right? You never think they'll even respond back, but
Yeah.
reaching out to you in your email would lead to where it has for me. So don't be afraid because the worst thing somebody can say is no, and it's in an email anyway. So you're the only one that knows. Like
Yeah,
you and
nobody
them are
else
the
knows.
only people who know.
Exactly. I thank you so much, Kristy, for taking the time to do this interview so that others can see what becoming a VA is like and what your journey is like versus mine, because I talk a lot on the channel about my journey, but I appreciate you sharing yours with the channel today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And also, thank you for choosing me as one of your interns and giving me the opportunities that you have. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.